Well, this is definitely a question that is not unique to PTSD. Everybody wants to know when, right? When am I going to recover? When am I going to feel better? When am I going to be able to sleep again? And these questions, or this question, is really out of anybody's control, right? PTSD isn't linear, right? You don't go from point A to point B, C, D all the way up till you're healed, right? It's layered. And healing from PTSD is going to come in waves, right? Some days you're going to feel amazing and you're like, "Yep, I must be cured." And then some days you're going to be so low that you're like, "Man, I don't even want to get out of bed this morning." And that's okay. Like both are fine because we're not seeking perfection. We're just seeking presence. We're seeking persistence. We're seeking getting better. I remember when I was first diagnosed with post traumatic stress disorder, I didn't want to get out of bed. And when I went into one of my low states, it would take me days, sometimes weeks to really kind of get out of it. And I persistently used the tools that I teach, and I was able to. Now it's, I still get moments, right? My moments have gone down to about, half an hour to a few hours. And from there, I begin to build and I'm like, look, okay, so I know what I need to do. I know when I feel low, or maybe I'm a little bit anger, maybe I'm hypervigilant, really watching around. I know the steps I need to take to get myself out of that. And I've been persistently doing this, but it's not going to ever stop, right? You're always going to have those times. And time, my friend, is less important than consistency. If you can constantly kind of work through what you're working through, and you can constantly be in charge and be self-aware of going, yeah, I feel like this today, but I'm going to take advantage of this and I'm going to move forward, then that's where the key is, that you're going to be in control again. Because this was what's going to move the needle in your life, not how long it takes, but how consistently you're applying these techniques that I teach, or that you've been taught, or that you're learning from elsewhere. It doesn't matter, my friends. I want you to learn. I want you to move from a surviving life, the one that's just, just making it through the day, into one that you're thriving and really enjoying again. But it takes awareness, and it takes consistency, and it takes action. You can't just sit back and hope your life's going to get better. You have to purposely be in action. But don't compare yourself, right? Comparison kills confidence. If you looked at my life and you're like, "Man, I wish I had what you had, or I wish I was where you were." Right? Don't compare that. You're where you are. And that's great. And I've been where you are. So just look ahead a few moments, maybe even a couple days, and be like, look, tomorrow I'm going to do stuff. Or later today, I'm going to practice some meditation. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do some gratitude. I'm going to write down, get stuff out of my head, and journal about how I feel. And these little consistent action are going to move you into a higher, bigger vibration in where you're at. So for today, I wanted to give you the exercise. I called it the recovery timeline reflection. And what we're going to do is we're going to look back and see how far you've actually come. So get a piece of paper and draw a line, a horizontal line on the sheet of paper. Label it the far left as the day I knew something was off, and the far right as thriving. Okay? So then mark down 3 significant points along the line where, one, you recognized a pattern or trigger, right? What happened? Where did you actually recognize, you're like, oh man, there's something going on right now? Maybe you were extra mad that day. Maybe you came and screamed at your kids after work, and you're like, why did I do that? Right? Don't cry over spilled milk, right? And we screamed at them. Or next, you want to go, okay, when did I reach out for support? Have you reached out for support? Maybe you're just at the in between, the you recognize the pattern of a trigger to you've reached out for support, right? You're in between there, and your next step is to reach out for support. Or you had a breakthrough or win. When did you have that? And when you mark down these significant points, you'll see where you're kind of going. And then reflect. What did I learn from each point? And how did I show strength even in survival? And doing these different reflection points, and where you are, is going to give you that self-awareness to know and to build into that next area. And then the final step is to write a short note for yourself. Write it from your past self, from where you are now, right? So write it like you're a teammate. Things like, I want to thank you for consistently moving forward in life, because doing this has made me where I am today. And on those days that you really didn't want to push through, you pushed through for me. And now here we are in the future, and I thank you, past self, for always consistently moving forward. Something just that simple. So try that today. See how this exercise worked for you. And, in the comments, let me know, and we can build from there.